Hello and good evening. I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and welcome to Psychic Talk. Joining me this evening is my amazing co-host, Eva Hunt, and we are on part 2 of our adventure in love. And I wanted to just expand our visualizations and expand our knowledge and include quite a few amazing guests from all over the world. So I wanted to say just welcome to the show, Eva.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here and just have this opportunity to share love with even more people all over the world.
It's amazing. So this is our part 2 of Lovers in the Air, and we are going to be talking about the different aspects of love, our perception of love, how we see the different kinds of love, self-love, unconditional love, romantic love, and everything in between. So Eva, I'd love you to just introduce your special guest that you brought today.
Okay, so I've got the beautiful Claire here tonight, and would you please give us a few words about yourself, because it's always nicer when it comes from the person and not by someone else.
Thank you, beautiful Eva. My name is Claire. I am from Johannesburg originally, but I live in Dublin, Ireland now, and I've lived here for many, many years. I'm a publicist by profession, but actually also a publicist by nature. I love telling stories, and I work with many incredible business people. I'm very much in the B2B space, and a lot of those could be technology founders and, VCs, venture capitalists, but it's an interesting thing that we're going to talk about love, because I always feel that I meet the most wonderful people, and tech bros don't enjoy the loveliest of reputations, but I seem to meet very lovely founders who truly are building technology solutions that actually can do well for the world. And then in terms of my personal life, I love dancing. I have a Great Dane called Duke. I actually call him Duke the Magnificent. And he's my absolute baby. He's 11 and a half now and in my line of sight. So if you see me looking off screen, that's where I am. And I love the rain. So I'm actually very lucky to find myself in Dublin.
And I have to add that Claire has an amazing intuition, and she is very much connected as well. And I am so proud to call her a friend. It's a beautiful connection. And that leads me to Wayne, who is another amazing friend of mine. And I would like to give you a chance to introduce yourself, please.
Well, good afternoon or good evening to everyone. And Eva, thanks again for inviting me. So my name is Wayne. I am the creator of the Coptic Sage Chronicles. It's basically a web series exploring the spiritual journey through the telling of it through tarot cards. Apart from that, I'm by profession, I am a biomedical engineer. I do fix X-ray machines, calibrate them. That's the day job. But for my life, I'm more into the esoterics. I study herbal medicine, and I'm just very happy to be with you people. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
That's amazing. Thank you. It's a wonderful introduction. So now it's my turn to introduce my 2 amazing guests. So I'm going to, first of all, introduce the amazing Ilene Gottieb. And she doesn't really need an introduction because she's just an all-round awesome person. But I'm going to leave it up to her to just give you a little bit about what she does.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to be here today. It's truly my joy. I am affectionately known as the Heart Healer, a name that was given to me by Spirit many years ago. My roots are in nursing, and I hail from the United States on the East Coast, most of my life in South Florida. I grew up in the Mid-Atlantic area, New Jersey to be exact. And in my nursing career, I have been blessed to work with children, women, of all ages, and they've been a focus for me even for the past almost 30 years when I've been in private practice offering vibrational healing techniques. And in the last few years, my focus through Spirit has been shifted to include not only conscious heart connection, but also the ancient Hawaiian problem-solving process of Ho'oponopono. And so I'm blessed to be able to serve a community and as many people as will listen, anything that I can to share how to utilize this amazing technique to help us to heal. It is my joy to be here and to share about love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ilene. It's always a pleasure to hold space with you. And last but not least is the amazing Ed Tucker. Welcome, Ed.
Hello. So, yes, my name is Ed Tucker, and I'm from the United States. I lived in a number of places there, born in Tennessee, Nashville. Spent most of my life in the San Francisco, California area, and then a few years in Florida before moving to the stunningly beautiful mountains of central Costa Rica, near about 5,000 feet. So I can't say enough about this place and the amount of beauty that there is. I have led workshops, been supported other people leading workshops on communication skills fundamentally based in healing wounds and learning how to love, basing that in perhaps self-love and recovering ourselves first before going forward. I love nature. I love my plants, my gardens. I'm a mosaic artist as well. I find a lot of deep peace in doing the mosaics. Requires a lot of patience. I've been told that I have unlimited patience. Not quite true, but takes a lot of patience to do mosaics. I really believe that beauty, when people are around beauty, it brings out the best of them, brings out the best of us when we're around beauty. And so I make that a priority for my life, for myself, and to share it with people. Oh boy. Oh, I can't, 2 more things I want to say. I've been around yoga since very, very young age. My parents were athletes, and they did what they thought was stretching. My mom was a dancer, dad was a football player. So I was exposed to that all my life. And then it wasn't until my 20s I learned what yoga was and that I'd been doing it. And so I've been a teacher for about 20 years. And speaking of psychic talk, the psychic part of me comes out when I am leading class. People tell me, you were speaking to me. And I wasn't. It just came out of my mouth. Again and again and again, that happened. The other thing, maybe a little unique about me, is I've had more than my share of losing people that I love. Just a lot of loss. And somehow I've managed to come through that and continue moving forward and finding love again and again and again. I'm very blessed. Oh, I must say, thank you. It's delightful to be a part of this today.
Thank you very much, Ed. It's really wonderful to have you here. And I just love all the synchronicities and links between all of us and how we all have a commonality. We all have there's some that have a commonality in the medical profession, like myself and Wayne and Ilene. And then we have people that have commonalities as well in countries like the USA, South Africa, the UK. So it's just wonderful how there is just this blend of amazing connections. So Eva is going to start off with an amazing sort of grounding your light with love. So I will leave it up to you so we can start that process.
Before I go into that, I just wanted to connect a little bit to the first part of this discussion, which was only between Priscilla and me, because we started it off earlier. And I just want to introduce myself to those who don't know me here, because I connect pretty much with everyone in different levels and with different assets of me. I am a multi-passionate creative, and I do coaching, energy healing, teach Qigong. I also read the tarot. I've got a YouTube channel with 9,000 subscribers now, only for Virgos. I channel love readings. And I also am from Hungary, moved to the UK 17 years ago. And my original profession is being commercial economist. So I've got a completely different start to my life than what I am doing right now. And I love my adopted country, England, because I speak my second language. It gives me an opportunity to become a hub. So through the online work I do, I can connect people with each other and connect to those people who are searching for light, for their path, for maybe it could be for misfits, for those people who are different from the rest, like Wayne is laughing at me. So it's like star seeds, empaths, sensitive intuitives, black sheep, or however we would like to call ourselves. It is an amazing arena to connect with all those people and share love and I can't say how amazing this is to connect with you all tonight and just do more of that. So I wanted to add this, and I'm also an artist, so I am expressing everything through art as well. I connect with Ed on that. He's a mosaic artist, and I am channeling from spirit. So yeah, it's lovely to be with like-minded, like-hearted people. And if it's okay now, I can move into the grounding. So this one is a mixture of lots of things I did put together today with spirit. And I know most of you, or possibly all of you, understand grounding, but let's just do this today together and help others who join us later on listening to the recording to connect with each other, okay? So would you be comfortable to close your eyes and just go within on camera? I know it's a bit complicated, but hopefully you can all shut down from the rest of us. And if you just make sure you are comfortable, your back is supported, your feet are on the ground, and just follow your breath. Allow yourself to breathe in and out in your own rhythm. And as you are breathing in, you are letting the universal light, the conscious light, the energy to flow into you. And when you are breathing out, you are giving this light back to the universe and also releasing anything that is not love within you. So just keep breathing at your own pace. And I'd like you to imagine that from the bottom of your spine, you can drop down a light cord. And from your feet, you can grow light roots into the earth. Imagine the earth being hollow, and you are letting these light roots down deep and wide, and you connect with the crystalline grid of the earth. You anchor yourself there, and now bringing your awareness back up through your light roots, back into your body, experiencing this amazing, warming, energizing light coming up through your feet, through your legs, into your root chakra, rising up to your sacral chakra and solar plexus, and then resting in your heart. And I'd like you to move your awareness up to the top of your head and allow light antennas growing upward towards the sky, all the way up until you reach the beautiful ascension grid of the sun. Plug into that. And then allow yourself to feel this completely different kind of energy pouring down through those light antennas into your crown chakra, down to your third eye, your throat, and all the way to your heart, where these two different light rays are going to find each other and circle around as yin and yang, so you can feel complete. And I'd like you to listen to your inner being, this higher intelligence, which is a part of you. This is light and love, and connect with it. It could be through knowing that you are connected, or maybe a feeling of connection. And then hold space with love and compassion for your human side, for your inner child, your inner teenager and adult, and your current self. And then allow yourself to become more of you by embracing both the human part and the spirit being you are within yourself. If you feel like you can touch your heart, your chest now, and just intensify the feeling of love within you. Chinese medicine is saying if you are holding a certain emotion in your heart center, it's radiating out that energy to every single cell in your body and every single particle in your energy being. Allow this love to nourish your entire being, all levels of who you are. And allow this light to grow further and glow all around you, and send it out to the universe. Now bring your attention back to your feet. Feel that you are grounded, anchored whilst you are this love and light. And love yourself with all your heart, unconditionally. When you are ready, start moving your fingers and toes and slowly come back to the room. Open your eyes. Are you all feeling okay?
Oh, yes.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for participating in this.
Thank you. It just sets a beautiful tone for the conversation we're going to have. I know in part one, Eva and I were having a discussion about the different aspects of love, the different kinds of love that we have in our lives, and what it means, and that the fact that there's only love and fear, and we always tend to hold the fear more readily than we do the love. And I feel as if we're all trying to spread the word of love and the different aspects of it, because, you know, love can conquer all, as they say, you know, that old adage. It's like, yes, love can conquer all. And we were just talking about self-love and unconditional love and romantic love. And Eva, what was your thoughts on our conversation earlier on today?
About the conversation, or a little summary of what we were talking about?
A little summary.
Oh, okay. So in a nutshell, I absolutely believe that we are all spirit with a human body. So we are coming from love and light, and then we incarnate in this duality world, as Priscilla mentioned, where is love and fear, and the opposite existing in our lives. And I believe that throughout our life, they are going parallel. So we do have the unconditional love in the background, just because of our upbringing, our conditioning. We are kind of coming off that road or tuning out of that frequency. And literally, we are spending our entire life coming back home, to go back to that alignment where we are truly believing that we are unconditional love. And it is a big journey of learning to activate that self-love within, to feel worthy, to kind of overcome all the conditioning of our upbringing, how our parents behaved with us, and how society tried to chop off different parts of us because we didn't do what they expected us to do. So I do believe that from when we were very little, we started to create certain strategies to how to receive love. And it could be like pleasing others, for example, and that is charging the mask we are wearing. So that attracts to us different experiences in romantic love, in connection with our family members, with friends. And understanding, becoming aware of what's going on is part of the healing process. And literally, our entire life is about getting closer and closer to who we are, the love and light I believe we are.
Exactly. It is. It's just an amazing feeling. So I wanted to throw it out to our amazing panel and guests tonight to really just what is your thoughts about what love means to you? What is the different aspects of love meaning to you? So I'm going to leave it to Wayne. Let him start off and just giving us his interpretation of what love means to you.
You know, while listening to Eva just now, it actually triggered quite a few thoughts. And one of those is that it for me, love has been a journey of finding myself again. So as Eva was saying, when you're young, you're born with that love, something that came to earth with you. And along the way, we get distracted. And that distraction comes in many forms. And it's always for the love of something, whether it be a love of vice or a love of something better than vices. It's always something that we're reaching for, that feeling. And I feel that when you are really on a journey, a conscious journey, to find that love again, it's really trying to find that original self, trying to come back to who you really are. That for me encompasses all the other loves that we meet along the way, all the distractions. I guess distraction might not be such a good word, but all the people, the things that we come across are all aspects of ourselves. They're mirrors of ourselves. So in finding that love for ourselves and for the others around us, it's bringing us back to our original state. That's where that explanation from Eva took me on this subject.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Wayne. It's, I would like to throw the gauntlet out to our next speaker, and I'd like to ask Ed to share his journey, because he, as he said before, he had an incredible journey through love and loss.
Well, you know, when we talk about this topic of love, to me, it is at once monumental and also really simple. And trying to find a balance between the two, we can talk about it as, you know, forever. And bottom line is, we want to feel it, we want to experience it, in my opinion. We want to embody it. I do believe that we are all, as humans, we are beings of light, as evidenced by the fact that the night vision cameras capture human beings, the infrared light. We are emitting heat and light. We are beings of light. That's, to me, that is really who we are, the essence of who we are. And what, you know, it's hard to say too much without overlapping a little bit of what Wade just said. Things get in the way. Things get layered on top of that. And we come into this world so innocent and open and fresh from the other side. And for myself, I think, and I have very vivid memories of being a very young child. I was a very vivacious, outgoing, spontaneous, unafraid of anything or anybody. And I would go up to anybody, and I was always my authentic self. But, well, you know, I don't know how else to say this. I was an effeminate little boy. And so I got judged, I got ridiculed, I got told I was bad and wrong. And somewhere in there, I learned there was something so incredibly bad about me that it could never be repaired. And I lived with that until I was in my 20s, really. And I started unlearning that and learning self-love and almost going through archaeology of removing those layers to get back to my authentic self. And this word authenticity has become more and more important to me as life goes on. Boy, where do I go from there? I feel like authenticity is actually, it's not just my feeling. I've read about this other places. There have been studies on it, people who do those things. The energy of authenticity is actually considerably higher than the energy of love. So when we can connect with our most genuine self that we're aware of, and then express love, our idea of love from there, then I think we have the best shot at it. Components of love can be things like really listening. For example, how many times have we had people say, well, how are you? But they don't really want to know. They just say that as a knee-jerk thing. So I'm very cautious. When I say, how are you? I pause, I connect their eyes. I really want to know, how are you? And when people ask me, I will, well, sometimes it's a little bit complicated. It's not a simple, I'm fine kind of answer, but overall, I'm doing okay, something like that. Another aspect of love is patience, being willing to listen and take the time it takes to listen. Boy, oh boy. Another concept important to me is being my own best friend. I think we can have the analogy of how am I a good friend to somebody else, but how can I be that same quality good friend to myself, really supporting myself. And sometimes I tell myself, okay, I can give myself a break now. I might go into the judgment. Okay, I did that. I let myself down somehow. Okay, let that go, forgive myself, be my own best friend. And then I'm able to be not just present with me, but with whoever else is around me. So there's so much, like I said before, there's so much to be said. I think maybe I'll just pause there and let the next of you.
May I please just join in to say that authenticity you mentioned, that it's a higher frequency than love. I absolutely agree with, because I teach law of attraction and how to work with the law of attraction. And I believe when we are our most authentic, unique self, because every single one of us here are talking about love, but we have completely different energy settings, and we need to align with our own. I can't align with yours or with Priscilla's, because it's not meant to be, and why would I copy someone else? So when you are authentic, then absolutely you are in the best place to create the most amazing experiences in your life, including the love, self-love, unconditional love, money, everything that you want to create. So I absolutely love that you brought this up. And also being your best friend, it's a very good way of describing how you can relate to yourself with self-love. I usually say, be there for yourself, doesn't matter what, and that's what a good friend's supposed to do. So I really, really like your way of connecting to these things. Thank you for sharing.
Okay.
Truly is amazing. Thank you, Ed. It's beautiful to share those inspiring words with us. I'd like to go to Ilene.
The thought that comes up for me as I'm listening to Wayne and Ed and Eva speaking is that the language we use will speak to whoever it resonates with. That there are so many different perspectives and ways that we can express what love means to us. And I think that's why there are so many self-help books and so many amazing teachers around the world that speak at a different tonality, that use different language, that express different emotions, that will resonate with different people along their healing journey and their journeys of awakening, in alignment with what Eva was talking about before. And the thing about love that comes up for me today, particularly, is family love, right? We've expressed that there are many different types of love, but there are also many different ways of expressing it, which Ed was just so beautiful in expressing. And for me, childhood, and I've found that in the last almost 30 years of being in service in the way that I've been guided to, that no one has gone unscathed that comes to me for support, for service, without some form of childhood trauma. And where do we learn how to love? We may come in innocent. We may come in fully connected to that which we are, which to me in language would be that soul essence that is a mirror of, that is always connected to the divine creator, by whatever name we know that to be. But in the human form, we learn love from the people that we are present with. And for most of us, that is our parents. And when we are brought into this realm by choice, I believe that we choose who our parents are. So I don't see any of us as victims, although until I adopted that philosophy, I certainly did feel like one, because childhood trauma, childhood abuse was very much a part of who I was. But who we bring ourselves into by choice is made in spirit. And the experience of being human is all about being physical, having the emotions, having the words, our thoughts, etc. Abuse is generational. We learn how to love in abusive ways, or we learn how to love in honoring and caring ways. For me, it was a combination of both. I had a parent, my dad, who was incredibly honoring and loving, and was raised by a very matriarchal presence that said, it doesn't matter if you're in a male body, you still change a diaper. You still go and clean the oven. It's not a woman's job. And for a man who was very much a male presence, sometimes we used to think of our dad as a male chauvinist piglet, shall we say, but he shared with us that balance, because as much as he was raised in a generation where men were taught to be a certain way, within that environment of home, there was an incredible loving presence. And my mom was raised in an environment that was abusive. She lost her mom when she was 17. So she did the best that she could, as I believe we all do. I believe we make the best choices that we can, even though they don't turn out the way that we would like to, because whoever we are being in the moment is truly the best that we can be. And so when we fast forward, as we move through this amazing journey of life, I'm in my 70s now. I never thought I'd live this long, let alone be able to be of service in the way that Spirit has guided me to be. And so love in this phase of my life is all about remembering that we are not individual alone, except in this human form, that we are always connected to each other. And that when we struggle with what we can do to help, especially during, hold on one second, especially during this very challenging time where we're all experiencing the energies of war and conflict in different places in the world, that touch each of us in different ways. It is so important that we remember that we as a collective of human beings, of different species that share this planet, and the planet herself, our divine and blessed Mother Earth, that the expression of love, to be love, is truly the greatest gift that we can give not only ourselves, as it helps us to move through these human experiences that sometimes are very challenging as we are navigating our emotions and doing our best, especially for those of us that understand the collective consciousness, that understand our connectivity and our role, our sole purpose for being here, which I believe is to remember how to be loving in alignment with what Eva was saying earlier. And so if we can remember that bigger picture, that we are here to be the expression of love to whatever degree we can. And that by being so, we are in service to the collective of humanity, to Mother Earth, to all who share this planet with us, and to the cosmos. For me, that's the greatest expression of love, is to just keep remembering, this is why I'm here. And I love that we have tools that each of us may resonate with different ones. For me, Ho'oponopono is one of those tools. To be able to say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or just I love you, or thank you, and know the divine creator will transmute whatever the memories are that are replaying, that are the cause of the underlying root problem, that 99% of it we're never going to know on a conscious level. And so it is my great joy to be here with all of you, to have this opportunity to share my heart, my love, and to be a part of such a beautiful group of people that are here to do the same thing in their unique and special way. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
Ilene, there were so many things that I would love to talk about for weeks, but there is just one thing I want to emphasize on that, what you mentioned, the choice, because Priscilla started off this evening with mentioning the fear and the love, that big contrast, and that's the choice, because every time we choose love, we could choose fear, but we choose remember that we are love and unconditional love, and we try to choose the right thing to become who we can become. And I think that's the most important thing, and a good tool to lead us to exactly what you explained, to really become aligned and connected with everything, with the cosmos as well.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
Exactly. Okay, I'm going to go over to Claire now. The platform is yours.
Thank you, Priscilla. Oh, wow. I feel like I'm just receiving lots and lots of, lots and lots of gold, actually. When I knew I was going to go on this podcast, I was, I'm a publicist. I was very keen to come up with the sound bite, and I had texted Eva as well this afternoon, and I didn't have anything. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? And then when we were doing that lovely grounding visualization, and I really got caught up in the antenna, and what came to me was what love is for me presently in my life right now is letting the obstructions fall away. And then Wayne spoke about distractions, and I thought, oh wow, we both in the same place, coming at it from different ways. So Eva's a Virgo, I'm a Capricorn, and very proud of that fact. When I was a little girl, I invented a sandwich called the Capricorn sandwich. My sister's a Taurus, and I would not let her eat a Capricorn sandwich. We are actually very close, but I became very addicted to to hard work, basically, and brought that into all areas of my life. So I'm very lucky that I love what I do, and I've had many areas of love in my life. I'm not just talking about sitting in front of a laptop, but it was always about rolling up the sleeves and really, the language that I'm using now as a woman in her mid-40s is grinding myself into dust. And in terms of how I have loved people in a romantic way as well as in other ways, there was a lot of rescuing in it. And the last 3 years of my life, it actually did start earlier. My dad passed away 9 years ago, and that was when it started to come into my awareness that there was a rescuing issue. And then the last 3 years, that's been even more intense. And I'm sure, the work of self-awareness continues, but what is happening for me is, for the first time that I can remember, I am more in flow, because I'm more, I think I can say I've let go of the rescuer persona, and I'm finding myself closer and closer. It continues and it evolves, but I'm finding myself closer and closer to my true nature. And I still love rolling up my sleeves, but in a very different way. And when I love now, I love myself. It's not about grinding myself into dust and then loving other people, because that's how I'm. And we all know rescuing comes with lots of control issues and all other things. So I'm not trying to, give myself a little noddy badge here. I just mean, I'm loving myself, because in the past I didn't, and that feels both very very unknown and very exciting and very blissful. And there's lots of discovery going on in my life at the moment, and I don't say all the obstructions are gone, but more and more as those are coming up for me into my awareness, I'm not judging myself for them, and I'm not being hard on myself for them. I'm actually approaching them with, oh, this is very interesting, and let me approach this with love, and then let me dissolve it and let it go. And that's where I am with love at the moment.
I think that's a very beautiful place to be. Wayne and I, we are definitely Virgos. I don't know about the rest of us. I know you are Capricorn, but you are all Virgo.
No, Virgo.
Virgos can be very controlling, because we try to organize everything and plan everything and know everything well ahead of time. And that is really hard to let go of. And that is part of our lower self, which would like to take control of everything around us, but it doesn't really work well with our higher self, with our soul, which is more like being in joy, being in excitement, rather than trying to do things all the time. So it's really interesting what you brought up, Claire, that I needed to learn too on my journey. And it is very tough. But now I am 53. I can say in the last, let's say, decade, I made lots of progress in that. But before that, it was very, very difficult, an uphill struggle for me too.
Well,
Wayne, do you feel like that?
well, as you bring up that the other aspect that you were talking about was fear, and I see that control thing is really linked very tightly with the fear.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
absolutely,
Very much so.
absolutely.
And we see that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Wayne.
Well, we see that in when it comes to romantic love specifically, but you see it in other like familial love as well. Myself, I'm a parent 3 times, so my youngest is about to go to college in the next few months. So of course, I'm overly protective at times. So I would prefer if she were to stay home and go to school. And she says she wants to explore, see something new and different, and live in a dorm. And that, yeah, that there's a certain amount of love there, but you have to see where the fear overshadows that love, and it can actually go in the opposite direction.
Absolutely.
I love what you said, Wayne. You know, that whole concept of old paradigm parenting versus the current newer paradigm parenting. The old paradigm, it's that fear-based, let's control it and plan it out because this is what's going to be the most comfortable. Whereas the spiritual guide parenting, which is more the current energy, is all about helping our children to know who they are, to know what their strengths are, and to assist them in finding their own path. And I am not a parent. Many people have said I've been mom to many people in my life, but it is a unique experience being a parent that births children in or raises them as adopted children. It's a very different experience. In Ho'oponopono, we have two choices: engage or initiate the cleaning of the problem, right? And for those of us Virgos that love to be in control of everything, right? The thing is that the more we stop engaging, the freer we are. And it takes that understanding that we're all here for the same reason and we're all going to experience it in different ways and we're all co-creating it, right? That if we can just not engage and just love people through, it's a lot easier for everybody concerned, but not always easy to hold that space.
Yes,
I honor you as a parent, right? For all of you that are parents, I honor you.
Yeah, I'm busy going through that at the moment, Ilene, and it's like we did. You know, you get raised in that fear and like controlling the children, and it's taken a lot for me to be able to step back and let go of like, I actually can't do this for my child, and yet I want to, and I demand to do it, and then I can't do it. And I've had to learn a lot about stepping back, and I've done that. And it's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life was to step back, because I felt like a failure as a parent because I wasn't there to fix it.
Right.
But it was my realization that I had to let go in love and allow my child to fix what they need to fix for themselves.
I think oftentimes when we remember that if we're all here for the same reason, if we're all having chosen to be here, then the minute we go into self-judgment or self-criticism about what we did or we didn't do that we think we're supposed to have done, when it's about being in relationship with someone else, like being a parent, if you consider that whatever the experience is that they're creating, whoever it is that we're loving, might be the most significant learning opportunity that they are co-creating. It might help a little bit to let go of that self-criticism in the experience of that relationship.
Sorry, Ilene, to interrupt. I just wanted to say how true that is, because I had two stepkids when I was with my ex-husband. I don't have my own kids, but that was the most amazing and very hardest learning experience ever, because I possibly am very naive, but I went into that experience like, if I love them unconditionally, then everything will be fine. And I had to learn how wrong that was and how hungry these kids were for actual unconditional love. And it taught me how to set my boundaries so strictly that they can't actually harm me by robbing me of certain things that I didn't want to give because I needed some energy and lots of things for myself. So you are so right. That experience is amazing. And
we just have to keep coming back to who we're being is really the only thing we get to choose. Yes. Who we're being in this relationship with ourselves, and how we choose in that way of being is how we show up in our relationships with everyone else and in the world. So we can make it really simple. I think that we make it really complicated as human beings with ego, mind, personality, and physicality. And if we make it really simple and get down to basics, it's love or fear. When the fear is coming up, if we go back to love, we'll find our path to wherever it is that we need to go much more easily.
It's a way of trusting the process.
Yeah, it's a process. I love it, Wayne. Yes, it is a process. I love that word too. Thank you.
So Eva, do you have any question? We've actually lost Ed. So I don't know what's happening in Costa Rica because I don't see any link to him at the moment. So we'll wait to hope he pops back on again. Do you have any questions for our panel today?
Do I have any questions? Oh my God, there is so many things we could talk about.
Here we go. Get to a long list.
We possibly will stay here all night if we go into that. No, actually, I don't really have questions. I just would like to say how amazing it is that from our different experiences, we are treasuring different parts. We have more emphasis on certain things than others, depending on who we are. And yes, the personal experiences are forming us. Like that's what we are learning from the most. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't have questions. Do you have questions, Priscilla?
Right. So actually, Ed says he's having fluctuations in electricity, just like us in South Africa. So I feel his pain, but he is trying to reconnect with the internet again. So we'll see him in a minute. I wanted to ask our panel. So with everything going on the world today, and I know it touches Ilene personally, what would be your advice to the world, or what would you like to implement or empower the universe with in terms of unconditional love out into the universe with everything that's happening? Wayne, would you like to?
Oh, wow. So it's something that Eva knows. While I do the biomedical work, I actually work for the U.S. Army.
Yes.
I work in their hospitals, and all through the Iraq War, I witnessed quite a few young people come back in pieces. And when I watched the news on Saturday and saw what was happening to those young people, it really took me aback. And this is from a person who's seen a lot of this before. But this kind of trauma that's being shared with the world is it's important to know that it's happening, but it's also important not to let the vibration drop to despair. And the empathy that we all share with everybody who's going through something just as bad. I mean, there's so many places on the planet that are going through this. It's the kind of communication and conversations like these where we explore each other's beliefs, each other's feelings on various aspects of who we are. That makes the difference. It's what brings up the vibration, and that's what I have on that. This whole thing that's been going on for too long. It's dominating us, it's traumatizing us, and we need to really tap in on that source. This is a perfect conversation to have during this time, because the love is what we're all lacking when we go into a situation like that. And I can't imagine it. I have a teenager myself. I could not imagine that situation occurring.
Exactly. I know it's speaking of my own, I think in some way, I don't know about the rest of you, but there has certainly been a lot of trauma and discord. I mean, I've also been in the medical profession, and South Africa has a very tumultuous road ahead, as Claire will verify. And we went through the whole apartheid and changing of governments many years back. And there was a lot of drama. The ANC were not the political party. They were actually terrorists at the time. And there was a lot of bombs and explosions and people losing their lives. And as a nurse, I was part of that, being in the ER department, having to see these people coming in and having to not remain angry with these people, going through in life. And then my own brother-in-law as well, being in one of the bombings that nearly took his life. And it was just, so it hit me on a very personal note. But you have to come out of it, and you have to have forgiveness and that unconditional love. Because you have to think, okay, well, I don't appreciate why they've done it. Understand that they are making their stand. But it's very difficult when we are seeing that kind of trauma and anxiety and craziness that happens within the world. And then you look at it today, and then it is almost as if the energy of the past comes back, because it's like a little bungee cord. You go right back to that part where you felt hopeless and unable to find solutions and stuff. And all you can do is sit with unconditional love. That's all you can do. There's nothing else. You can't fix it, because you can't go over there and bang their heads together and say, stop this. All you can do is send unconditional love in the hopes that they will find it in their hearts to find their own peace and their own love.
I remember someone saying, and I can't remember who it was, that as long as one human being holds the energy of war, it will exist and keep repeating on the planet. And so it's an evolutionary process. We are in the process of having it up to the surface so that we can see it and make a conscious choice about how we are going to be in it. We started out anger, fear, love, right? If we stay in the fear, we feed the fear, and we feed the energy that is the underlying cause of any conflict or war. But if we keep reminding ourselves, the whole purpose is to remember how to be loving, and we keep going back to that, no matter what we see, sense, feel, or hear, or know on the outside, then we move more towards the presence of peace with love at its core. But it's a process, as we said, right, Wayne? Right? That word process.
Yes.
Will it happen in my lifetime? I don't know. Would I love it to happen in my lifetime? Absolutely. But I'm in towards the end of my lifetime, whereas most of you are in the first third, sometimes the second third. And we hold different spaces in different phases of our lives, for sure. Right?
Ilene, I believe that in the next 5 years, we are still in the very thick of it, but possibly in about a decade time from now, so it could be still your lifetime, we are going to definitely go on the up if people who right now feel like they are unsure and they don't know what to do, they feel lost. And this is why I feel what I can give to this cosmos, this universe, that's how Priscilla started it, how to empower people. I absolutely feel that my mission is to empower those who feel they don't belong. And most of my clients come to me with that feeling. And they need to understand that they have a purpose. And that purpose can be so many different things, but the most important is to find the love within and to shine as bright as possible, because we are literally talking about love and fear and light and shadow. And that war consciousness, or however we can call it, that's the shadow coming into the picture. So we need to strengthen the light, and I am definitely leading those troops to collect more of them. That's why I call myself a hub. Like, these people can come and feel that they are not on their own. And there is a group of people who is growing all the time. And the internet is such an amazing tool to unite us. I would never, ever meet Wayne or Claire, or any of you if there wasn't for the internet. So
Agreed.
it's an amazing tool, and Wayne is also right to have more of these conversations and show people that it is possible. And the positive media, like Claire, that's more of your area, the publicist, being a publicist, but it is our responsibility to focus on the positives, because the mainstream media isn't doing that, or very, very rarely. So I think that's what I can give to the cosmos, to the universe, to this world.
For sure. It is. It's an amazing journey we're on at the moment. Ed, would you like to jump in? Some opinions?
Well, I apologize. I missed a little bit there. Living up here in the mountain, sometimes the power goes out and I hear thunder in the background. So, you know, that's what happened to me. Well, part of me doesn't like acknowledging that if only one person left in the planet still has thoughts of war, then we're not out of it. And what came up for me on that was, maybe you've all heard of the concept of the 100th monkey. Anybody not heard of that? Maybe for somebody who might listen later, very briefly, a study was done of these monkeys on these different islands, and I think it was near Indonesia. And one of them learned how to use like a shell for a tool. And so then soon to open up something, or maybe they used a rock to open up a shell. And so other monkeys on the island learned that. And then like overnight, it seemed monkeys on all these other islands were doing the same thing with no possibility that they could have seen others do it or learn about it. So it's to say that once we get to a certain level, a certain number, a certain energy, that we can like pull everybody else along, and hopefully it can be nearly in a heartbeat, nearly overnight. So I've read numbers about how many people it would take, but in the meantime, each of us needs to continue doing our part, and those of you listening doing your part to be one of those monkeys that is anchored in love. You are a stand for love. You are there to be pushing the rest of humanity forward into this higher vibration that we want to, well, hopefully, most of us want to get to. Another little piece to add is the idea of trust. Trust can mean all kinds of things. And to me, fundamentally, it comes back again to me trusting me. When I trust somebody else, it's not so much about my trusting them. Or, you know, they're loving me, or what they'll do for me, or what they'll follow through for me or not. It's more about me trusting me to be there for me, regardless of what these other people do. And that's part of what I see as being my own best friend, being there for me, being my authentic self, connecting with that part of me that's grounded, that is grounded. Maybe I'll leave that there.
Yeah, because you've taken an incredible journey from the US to Costa Rica. And we know each other from your beautiful ex-partner, Michael, who is sadly not with us anymore. But it was just such an incredible journey that, would you like to just share a little bit about that journey with us?
Well, sure. It is a big piece of who I have become. So backing up a little bit, living in the San Francisco Bay Area, I was there during the height of the AIDS crisis, and I saw my friends dying one by one by one by one, and I was very observant, noticing the choices they made and realizing, okay, that choice didn't serve that person. That choice led to this result. That's not the way I want to go. So I did a lot of things my own way. I faced a lot of criticism because of it. But also, you know, I'm here. All said and done, I could have passed over the other side 40 years ago. I'm in my 70s as well now. So, so I lost all my friends, I lost partners, and then in the maybe it was 2007, I met a man named Ray, and Ray convinced me that it was time to leave California and go to Florida. And so I didn't want to. I thought I'd never leave California. It was such an amazing life for me there. And but I wanted to do that for him, go to Florida for him. As it turned out, he had a sudden heart attack about 5 years into our into our being in Florida. We were together about 10. And just, now he's here, now he's not. That's how that was. So I learned a lot from that experience. That's probably another whole podcast right there. And so then later that year, that was February, later that year, I met Michael Carbone, who Priscilla is referring to. Michael was another psychic medium. He had his own podcast radio shows. He published author. He started a church in Florida. Very accomplished man in his way, not without his trauma for sure. So we were together for a very short while, and both of us just kind of on the same day got the inspiration. It's time to leave the United States. It's time. And he just said one day, it's too chilly here. I want to go live in Costa Rica. And I said, really? Are you serious? And so we did what we needed to do. We did a lot of research, talked to a lot of people, a lot of reading, had our list of must-haves. We came here, we were here a number of years, and this property that we found it's frankly, it's stunning. It's breathtaking. It truly is. And everything that he and I did to it, everything I've continued to do to it has just made it more and more so. We've had small retreats here, personal retreats, families here. So Michael he was not one of those people who would compromise. And so he was diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer, and the treatments were going to cause him more compromise than he was willing to live with. So he went through it his own way, and we took care of him here at home. And that was 3.5 years ago, he passed. So I think that's the part of the journey that you were referring to there. And, I never really thought I would find, Ray was the best. I never thought I would love again. Michael was the best. I never thought I'd love again. But we had another friend who just showed up. His name is Luis, a Costa Rican man. And it just evolved. I would not have looked. I was not going to look for anyone else. Luis showed up. And I've learned more about love from Luis than everyone else, not to slight anyone else or what I learned from any of them, because they were all, I'm very, very fortunate. I know that has a lot to say about who and what I am, although I also tend to be extremely humble person. It's a lot for me to talk about myself in those terms, but I have learned so much from Luis, how he connects with me, how I have learned to connect with him, to be more and more, I keep coming back to it, more and more who I really am, more my authentic self, completely being there for him, really listening. And we have a language barrier. He's not so great in English. I've had 8 years now to learn Spanish, but a lot of times I have to say, I understand you are saying this. Is that right? And I learned that technique many years ago as called active listening. But when with the translation, I need to do it all the time. Is this what you're saying to me? And either yes, no, and then we correct, move forward from there. Boy, oh boy, what can I say? Luis, he is just the best of the best of the best. And to be at my age and to find what to me feels like the most amazing love of my lifetime is beyond what I know how to say. So once again, I'll just pause right there.
Thank you.
How
You've actually brought
amazing.
beautiful, joyful tears to my eyes.
Mhm.
It almost makes me cry thinking about it, thinking.
Yeah, it's incredible that
I'm
the
always
universe
learning more about
decided
love
to.
from him.
Yeah,
Hmm?
exactly. It's amazing that the universe has decided to bless you so many times to show you that love is
Yeah.
possible. Unconditional love is always possible, no matter what you have to go through.
And I so many times I've either read or I've heard people say, well, I can't love again. Is there hope for me after the age of 50, 50, 60, 70? Yeah, there is, if you want it to be. Leave your heart open. Yeah, there
Exactly.
is.
Claire,
Oh
would you
boy.
like to jump in and
I
give your opinion?
Yes, I would, and I stand for myself here. My top value is integrity, and I need to say yes. South Africa has got a tricky present at the moment, and possibly a challenging future. It also has a very violent past. One person's terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. There's a lot
Exactly.
around seeing other people's point of views, and what took place in South Africa didn't take place because the status quo was observing human rights. It was a very, very different story. And on that front, in terms of what I'm putting into the world presently, is to continue to stand in my integrity. And my integrity, I have this discussion with my therapist all the time. I'm not a pacifist. I've been a rescuer in my life, but I'm not a pacifist. And there is a space in how I see love and how I understand integrity to be for such a thing called righteous anger. And that is something I will be putting into the world, and something that I put in the world already.
Mhm.
Eva?
Well, all of these are various expressions of love, aren't they? I mean, again, like she was just saying, is that the one man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter.
Exactly.
The way that we express ourselves while sort of sharing it with everybody else. Sometimes that will come out in a way that's adverse to what we think love would be, wouldn't it? For instance, when you have retaliation because you've lost a child, or you've lost any loved one, you've lost your identity, these things, that grasping, it brings it right back to that subject of love and fear of loss of that love. So yeah, it in a way, I could see more now after this conversation than before, that they are pretty much on the opposite ends of the spectrum, the fear and the love. However, they seem to play this dance in our lives. It's part of that dance that takes us forward, that evolutionary process, because through all of these things, it always seems to take us to the next level. South Africa went through that very harsh past, and yet it still has challenges, but they did come out of a much darker era. When you look at the Civil War in the United States, it took us out of a darker era. It doesn't mean everything's fixed, but it does show that evolution. And this is through different people choosing what they stood for. And it always came back to people excelled because of that love in them. Love of freedom, love of whatever you may call it.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I think it is all about taking responsibility, because in truth, fear is not the opposite of love. The opposite of love is lack of love. So lack of love can be anything, that anger, that jealousy, or whatever is powering people who are not sorry, aligned with their own love and integrity and authenticity. Sorry, I am losing my voice now. And I feel that that is the key, the responsibility. So not allowing our own anger and pain to pour out to other people, to contain it, to transform it, so we can just project the love side, the energy of compassion and kindness, which will change the world. And I think that's what many people don't understand, or maybe don't even think about. Do you believe that, Wayne?
Yeah, yeah. You guys giving me a lot to think on.
Well, we aim to please. It is so important because the world is coming to a time now where we have to make a conscious change and decision to step into love. Because if we don't, this world is not for long then, because, it's just going to spiral out of control and become, the Walking Dead in a sense. So for me, it feels as if, I think what the universe does not realize is that everybody around us, we are a lot more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. We are a lot more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. Mm-hmm. And we have the capacity for love more than we realize, even with all the trauma that's happening around us.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'd like to ask Eva to give us her final thoughts, and then Ilene will do an amazing Ho'oponopono prayer out into the universe to help with this healing of the planet, and especially to Israel and even the Ukraine, and even still Hawaii, because they're still struggling as well. So there's so many places in the world that are just in pain. So Eva?
Yeah, my final thought would be in the form of talking to spirit, because before we started this session, I was asking what would be the message, the final thought. And interestingly, I was drawn to the crystal deck, and the crystal that showed up is tourmaline. And tourmaline is an amazing grounding stone. Interestingly, we started with grounding, and also there are different frequencies, different forms of tourmaline, which is connecting to the heart. So tourmaline is really about unity, love, and protection. So what I believe, to close this whole amazing conversation, is being in our authenticity, integrity, aligning with love, self-love, unconditional love, with our true self, with our spirit self, and our unique energies, is going to bring us to unity. And we need to do more of this, to talk about it. And what this energy says, the spirit says through this card, it's time to move towards unity with all things, connect with nature, and let the eternal cycles of life bring you balance and wisdom. So I know it's a bit big and deep, but I feel this is exactly what we need to do to express love in every way possible, and always come back to our heart.
Exactly.
As a message.
Thank you, Eva. And I did a card. It's my universal love deck, and I drew out the card. It's called the Gateway. And I think that, wow, that is actually just so appropriate, because the gateway is about all of us, about a chapter in our life is coming to an end or a close. Surrender it gracefully and with love. Trust all is held eternally within our souls and our hearts. As the natural cycles of life take their course, remember that spring follows winter. Time is a gateway. Allow its precious beauty to pour into your heart. If there is sadness at the time, remember, as a new chapter unfolds, love guides all things. So, wow, that was just so amazing. That was our card for the, for the evening. It's absolutely perfect. And I love the way the universe always knows how to send us the messages that we really need. And for Spirit to guide us. And so I'd love to leave it over to Ilene to guide us now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so imagine, if you will, as you uncross ankles and knees, relaxing your abdominal muscles and breathing into and out of your heart center. Just imagine your breath as it slowly enters into the heart center. And as you breathe out, it comes out the front again. Gently and easily breathing into and out of the heart. And as you do, imagine within this space of your heart center is this gorgeous, beautiful light of love that is your soul essence. Imagine it however you will. And as you connect in with your heart, imagine that you are on a healing platform that lives on another dimension. And on top of this healing platform, see us in a collective crystalline pyramid, if you will. And find a seat that you can fashion made out of crystalline material. And as you continue to breathe into and out of your heart center, you begin to notice your surroundings. Noticing that the walls are lined with crystalline geodes, all pointing in towards the center. And if you will, imagine that this healing platform and this crystalline pyramid expands. And it includes all of us and Mother Earth within it. And all who dwell within, upon, and above her. All of us contained within this safe space of a crystalline pyramid. And in it, we invite in all of our collective hierarchy of spiritual beings that lovingly support us on this human journey. And as we continue to breathe into and out of our heart's centers, we are aware of the different areas on our divine Mother Earth where there are conflicts, where there is war, where there is an absence of the presence of love. In truth, love is always there with us, for that is our soul essence. It is the substance of us and the universe. But we lose our conscious connection to it from time to time during this human journey. Let us imagine, if we will, that coming from these geodes, from our crystalline pyramid that envelops us, that the frequencies of love and whatever we need to come more and more into that energy, that presence, that way of being, that those frequencies of light are flowing into each and every one of us and into Mother Earth herself, giving us exactly what we need to come more and more into our hearts. With ourselves first, and with each other, and our life experiences. And as we continue to breathe into and out of our hearts, I offer a Ho'oponopono cleaning statement or prayer for us all at this time. To whatever memories are in me that limit our ability to be our authentic, loving selves, that limit our ability to hold a space of kindness and caring and love. Whoever we are, wherever we are. For Mother Earth, for humanity, for all who share this divine planet with us, for the cosmos. On any and all levels, through our ancestral trees that I am to atone for. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love 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 you. Thank you, Divine Creator, for transmuting all of these memories that we may know love and that peace may prevail. And so it is. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. Blessings.
Thank you so much, Ilene. That was beautiful. It really resonated deep in my heart and my soul. I really do appreciate it. And I know that there was an incredibly hard prayer for you. And I know that it sat deep within your own heart. So we hold space for you and for your loved ones that are in turmoil as well.
Thank
and
you.
Know that God in his wisdom and the light of unconditional love will shine on everybody and surround them with bubble of protection.
Thank you.
Eva, I wanted to thank you so much for joining me today on the second occasion and co-hosting with me this amazing chat about love. There's just so much of it, and once you go down the rabbit hole, it's like, oh, there and there and there and there. So it's this constant journey of rediscovering about the different aspects of love. And you're right, earlier on you said we could talk until the cows come home.
Yes, thank you so much. It has been an honor to be here, and thank you so much for my guests to come tonight and add to this beautiful conversation too.
Thank you.
Yes, it's been a wonderful contribution, and I really do appreciate your love, your unconditional love and presence. And I'm just so grateful that you have blessed us with your time and energy, your love and your story. So I thank Wayne and Ilene and Ed and Claire. Thank you all very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
My gratitude.
You're welcome. So I wanted to say thank you, everybody. This is a pre-recorded event, so please feel free to click like and subscribe and share it with whoever you want. And please leave some comments in the chat. And we will have all the contact details of all our guests. So if you want to touch base or you want to go on a retreat to Ed's amazing yoga retreat and home in Costa Rica, he's open and ready for business. So thank you all, everybody, and good night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye-bye now.
Blessings.